Hi, this is Vincent Von Doom, and we are back with another episode of Disaster Survival Magazine's weekly radio broadcast. We have a special guest with us tonight, the godfather of the preparedness industry, James Talmage Stevens, otherwise known as Dr. Prepper. Are you there, buddy?
I am. Good to be with you, yes.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. I have your books in front of me, the Family Preparedness Handbook, more than 800,000 copies sold, and you're on your version 12.5, and you also sent me Don't Get Caught with Your Pantry Down. These are two huge books. They're like telephone books. They are a treasure trove of information. I get sent a lot of books here to review, but no book is as complete as yours, and it's no nonsense. It gets right down to the meat and potatoes of prepping and survival, and this is definitely a resource that I suggest anyone who's getting into prepping that they buy this book, and even the most seasoned preppers that they have this book for reference. When did you first come out with the first issue?
1974, actually 40 years ago on March 2nd, which was, yesterday?
Wow. So that was your 40th anniversary yesterday, huh? Wow, happy anniversary.
Oh, I didn't miss it much. It kind of sneaked past me. I thought it was later in the month. Too many things happening in March. On March 14th, March 9th of 2009, I started the radio program, and that's gone now for 5 years, and it's the oldest preparedness. There are other political things going on, and there's some survivalist stuff, but nothing about preparedness. Preparedness is like if you will, the canopy of an umbrella. It covers the ribs of the umbrella, but the ribs have to be there to hold the umbrella in shape. The ribs might be survivalism, self-reliance, patriotism, urban, suburban, exurban homesteading. All those form the ribs, but the canopy would be called preparedness and covers all those ribs, and it also covers the handle, and you might call the handle, I guess, a lifestyle, and it's what supports the life of a preparedness, a prepper life, a preparedness life, a survival life. But there's no self-sufficient life, by the way. You cannot be self-sufficient. It doesn't work. There's no way you can be self-sufficient. You can't make an egg, as my kids would say. You cannot make an egg. You cannot make a chicken. Most of us can't even pound a piece of metal into something useful because we don't have the tools, and you can't make the tools. So you see, no matter when somebody says, I'm going to get me a dozen chickens and become self-sufficient, you have to laugh. Just have to have a sense of humor about that.
Yeah. It takes a village, and everyone has to be specialized in something. You can't do it all yourself, like you said.
Well, you can't make a plow. Guy says, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to put me a bunker in so I'll be self-sufficient. Okay, how are you going to get that bunker in? Well, I'm going to dig a hole and pour some concrete. Well, what you going to dig that hole with? Your fingernails? No, I've got a shovel. You didn't make the shovel. Well, I'll get a tractor. You won't make the tractor. You see, it's inane to think that we're self-sufficient.
Just like Obama said, you didn't build that, right?
Yes, right. You may build it, but you won't do it with your own labor, and you won't do it with your bare hands because life's gotten too complicated. And we actually have an interdependence, and the more interdependent we become, in reality, the more capable we become. And we've tried to do that, and then it's kind of gone crazy. We were doing really well for a while, and now the inner city turmoil, the what shall we call it? The influence of politics, the interpolitical striving to exceed. That competition is ruining America right now.
Yeah. Your radio network, it's called Preparedness Radio
Network,
Network, preparednessradio.com. And I got to say, it's one of my favorite websites right now. We just met each other recently, and I was looking for a place where I could find all of my favorite prepping shows and information all in one spot. And I found it when I met you and the Preparedness Radio. And every day I go on there and I listen to some of the shows that you have. And you got some really great shows and some really great guests on there.
Well, we have some great hosts. The hosts are competent people. Most of them, we started out with people my age. Boy, there are about 6 or 7 of us who've come through the last generation, 2 generations actually now. And from 74, Barbara Salisbury, Jim Kennard, Jim Phillips. There are a couple of others. We're the major ones who are still out there. Craig, there are a couple other guys I'm having a hard time remembering all the names, especially under pressure. I work pretty well when I'm relaxed, but I can't seem to get relaxed enough. I can't get close enough to a beach that I can relax. But there are a lot of people that we were already over 60 when we did the Y2K stuff. And we were the old men then, and we're still here with the next crisis. By the way, these crises, really, as far as we're concerned internally in the United States, the first one was in 1974. Fortunately, my book came out about 90 days before that June day when people started waiting gas lines. Now, you may remember it, you may not. You might have been a child in 74, sitting in the back seat of the car strapped in. No, they didn't strap kids in 74.
That was Iran? That was with Iran and stuff like that?
Yeah, Desert Storm, after that stuff. And gas prices went from $29.9 to $2.29 or something like that in about 2-3 weeks, and then you had gas was rationed. You had to sit. If you had even numbers, you got even days. You had odd numbers, you could only get gas on odd days. Remember that? You don't remember? You went around.
I remember it in the news. I remember in news reports afterwards about it.
Yeah. So in 1974, you were probably not very old.
I was born in 1979.
Okay, so you read about it. See, that's the thing. That's what I try to tell people. I lived through that. I mean, I was a grown-up with 4 kids, and my book came out just about 90 days before that happened. Came out in March, April, May, June. So we'd just gotten through the second edition, and we couldn't print them fast enough after that. And it wasn't. I've always been self-published, which has been the fun part of it. I look back on it and think, why did I do that? But it helped me be independent. It became a business, and it supported my family, my kids through school, college, etc. And and a lot of. I look back on it, it was a lot of fun and a lot of experiences. And so that was the heritage that I brought into Making the Best of Basics, and now it's in its getting ready for the 14th edition. It's 12.5 because I didn't want to go 13. I don't care, but there's some things you don't do. In most foreign countries, they don't have a 13th floor, and a lot of buildings in the United States don't have a 13th floor. So, and they don't like the number 13, so we just stayed away from it. So nobody, didn't want to lose any sales over it. So, like our good friends Microsoft, we went from version 12 to version 12.5, and then and so the next one will be 14. And that'll be the 40th year anniversary. Will be coming. I'm working on it now. It's going to be a lot bigger, more expensive. It's going to go up because there's going to be a whole lot more paper. As you know already, it's a 3-pound book. It is 8.5 by 11. It's a big book. I can assure you that I have chapters that have more information than some of the books that are written, and they tout themselves to be the complete book on this and the complete book on that. Only in their imagination and their lack of knowledge. And I say that without naming any names because this book has gone through 40 years of growth. But it's basics. It's not about everything. I don't discuss the 37 ways to use baking soda. That isn't basic. That's just nice to know. Or the 157 ways to use WD-40. That is not basics. That's not about a preparedness lifestyle. That's nice to know. The basics lifestyle doesn't require that you be able to pound out your own knives and sharpen your own blades. And it does mean that you should be able to know what you'd like to eat, store what you eat what you store. But you see, all these bright young people don't listen to the full paradigm. It's not just, and I don't mean to be down on the kids. I have kids older than some of these people who've written books. I have grandkids. I'll be a great-grandfather in just a couple of months. And I know that the stuff that they're taking the glory stuff, they're taking the difficult stuff, they're taking the stuff that's hard, the detail that you don't really need to know. It's great to know it, but you don't need to know it to live a basic lifestyle. You need to know how to start a fire. You need to know how to cook food so it's done. You don't need to know how to go out and kill food. I don't think that's going to work in the future. As you know, we've had that discussion. I don't see the need for me to learn anything about being a bushman or a bushmaster. I'm afraid if I go out in the woods looking for something to kill to eat, I'll be the victim, because you can't send 80% of our urban society, which is 81% of our population, out into the woods with a gun looking for something to eat when they don't know what to eat, and when they kill it, they won't know what to do with it.
Well,
and
you're absolutely right.
So far in the woods, they won't be able to get it back before it spoils.
Yeah.
You see, there's an irrational attitude because they don't. It's what they call normalcy bias. I don't like really getting into that because what it means is that people think that it'll always be the way it was, and so for them, a little imagination. They see themselves buying a gun and some bullets with no training, or even get a carry permit, and they're going to go out in the woods and know how to bring back game. Well, you fire one shot, where do the deer go? Higher and higher. They run further away. Every time they hear a gun go off, they run away. And it's only a matter of time before you'll have to go 200, 300 miles like they do out west, up into the hills to find something and then get it back out and get it home before it spoils. And think of 300 million Americans out in the woods looking for something to eat. or New York City. What if they were getting the move-out order? Well, it didn't work in New Orleans. That's a small town. But if they said, okay, everybody in New York start marching. First guy comes to a tree, get behind it. Next guy go to the next tree, next tree, next tree. They'd be in the Appalachian Forest, somewhere down around North Carolina, before everybody was behind a tree. Oh, by the way, and when they get down into Philadelphia, those people got to get out of town, so they're going to be behind some trees. How far would they have to walk from New York City if everybody were getting a walk south, pick a tree order? I mean, just think about the children of Israel. When it was 3 million people went across the Red Sea. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in a minute. How'd you feed those people? We're talking about trainloads of food had to be. I mean, the scale of it is just unbelievable. Computers can compute it. I don't think men can imagine. I don't think you can ever feed all those people in the woods. In one day of hunting, 300 million people are going to take out all the game that's left except the wild boars here in South Texas. That'll take a little longer because they got so far to go to get them. But it's improbable, virtually impossible to think that we could live off the land. And these people who have seeds and say, well, I'm going to start a garden if the poop hits the propeller. But the thing is, it takes 90 to 120 days to grow a crop, and you have to have a place to do it, and a big enough place, and there are places where you can't even find ground. It's all concrete or asphalt. How are you going to grow fruits and veggies there? How long does it take an apple tree to grow to maturity? How long does it take a pear tree, an orange tree? I mean, and then how do you get it off the tree to somebody else? If you have a tree in your backyard, it's good for you, but how do you share it with your neighbors or your children who live in another state?
Wow.
Especially if you can't get around anymore. I mean, see, you just got to get away from your paradigms of, it'd just be slightly, I'll send it to them by UPS. Sure you will. There's no gas.